fabulous stories. And say one last thing about JFK Jr. just before I get off him. Jackie Kennedy is one of the best of the moms. When you read this book, you're going to conclude, boy, she did lots of things right. And when most of you are familiar with her childhood and you know some of the traumas she experienced as a child, which makes it all the more admirable. She was a great mom. And it's no accident that John and Carolyn were as classy as they were and as we expected them to be. But before she died, she could not resist. And Jackie Kennedy's last note to her son before her death was, "You especially have a place in history." And of course, 5 years later, he was gone. So there is tremendous stress on these young people to live up to the image of the father. If you're not named after the father, you might slip away. For example, I found one of the living children of a president living on an island at work. The local newspaper, we called them first, said, "We hear this guy." They said, "Well, we hear he lives here too, but we don't know." So I thought, well, the local editors don't know, and it's an island, they ought to know. Turns out he lived there 8 years. I called his place of work and said, "Is the president's son?" And I named him there. They said, "Well, he's here, but he's not the president's son." I said, "Well, may I speak to him?" I spoke to him, and it was the president's son. So here's a former president's son working for 8 years with people that don't know his dad was the president of the United States. And I write about him in my book. And recently we had a suggestion, a TV producer wanted us to bring together some presidential kids and sit them on a round table and discuss what life in the bubble's like. So I phoned this kid back, thinking I'd built a relationship with him and maybe he'd come off his island and be a part of a TV show. And they said, "He's gone. Left no forwarding address." So I guess I ruined his life. I didn't mean to. Maybe there was some other reason. Maybe it was coincidental. But anyway, he was there 8 years and nobody knew who he was. And so some presidential kids, they can, maybe the Johnson kids especially, they could slip away. But it's pretty tough. I mean, a great American baseball player can walk down the streets of the Champs-Élysées and the only body that recognizes him is the American tourist. But a presidential kid anywhere in the world, the buzz is out on the street. Here it comes, here they come. Do you know who they are? And